Welcome to the CFG Gamecast episode number 185, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every weekend and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, do us a favor, and give us a like on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube or Twitch, or go to any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today is my awesome co-host who decided to go check out Evo today and loves it. I am talking about the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I'm talking about Smitty on the third seat. What is going on, my dude?
Yo, chillin'. Actually, the second seat, but it's all good because our friend Lex is out. Oh, whoa. Take it easy. Take it easy. You are perma-third.
You
see the abuse I have to take being on this podcast? I hate it.
You don't hate
it. Yo, Evo, like we were just talking about it too. It was electrifying. The energy there, it is absolutely packed. The parking garage was full. I just valeted so I can get in. I had equipment with me. Lots of people are out there. Saw a lot of people out there. Saw my man, beloved, with 5 Force Fighters was down there. Ran into Merc Anthony's and Logan Radio Rocks. The folks over at Vegas Inferno. Saw Salvador from Storm Rush Gaming. I saw Efran playing Project L. That's Riot's new fighting game that they're working on. So I mean, dude, it is electrifying out there. There are some hype matches going on in the back. So overall, it was dope. I could have spent all day down there. I would have been cool with that. But I may go down to Championship tomorrow and check it out for a bit. We'll see how it goes. But other than that, though, I've been grinding on Exoprimal. I'm just having a blast. It literally is, so far of 2023, it's the game that I didn't know that I needed. It's just a lot of fun. There's some things that I wouldn't say it's a great game yet. I think it's a good game. There's some things like the crossplay stuff that they need to address because it made zero sense why they would make matchmaking crossplay, but not, you can't crossplay party play. So that's a little annoying, but other than that, though, I really haven't. I need to get down, and I need to finish up Final Fantasy 16 as well. I got 2 crystals left. 2 crystals.
Not done with that.
I know, dude. Exoprimal came in like a wrecking ball, and I can't stop. Like, that has literally turned into like my Overwatch. Basically, you can go into, like, the matches only last like 10, 15 minutes at most. So you can hop in, get a couple in, boom, hop out, do some other things. I already finished the story. There's the new mode that's like a timed mode. I don't know what the frequency is. It was off a little bit ago, but it's back on. I tried it last night. We could not get through it with randos, so I still haven't beaten it. I got master though on the first one, so I'd like to do the same. We'll see how it goes. Wow, Dust says 10 for 10 perfect game once they fix the crossplay.
There is no such thing as a perfect game. Well, there is a thing as a perfect game, and I will say Exoprimal is not a 10 for 10. It's not a perfect game.
I don't know. Have you played it?
Yeah, I've been playing. I played it.
All right. Have you? You haven't even said anything to anybody.
I just played it. Like I went to I don't have it myself. That's why. But I went to a friend's. Well, you already know. I mean, I don't have Xbox Game Pass, and I don't have, and I refuse to buy this game because it's too expensive in my eyes.
I agree.
But so I decided, you know what? I just wanted to play it with a friend, so I went to a friend's house and I messed around with it. I can see the appeal. It's a good game. It's definitely a good game.
So the story is actually solid on it. It's a good story, but with twists and turns, and at first I wasn't really paying attention to it. But then it grabbed me and it started captivating me, and like I really, like, I connected with the story and just what was going on. Like, I actually enjoyed the story. So, and it was cool how even though it's like a PvPvE situation and whatnot, you still are going through story missions where like everybody in the group has to do them and stuff like that. And like I don't know, man, like,
okay,
I can't deny it. I think at best right now, I think it's a $40 game. I would.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I don't want to sound like an elitist. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to sound like an elitist when it comes to this. But I will say this because you and I already talked about it because like how much like when someone gives a game a perfect score, it means it kicks different with me like perfectly with me because like that means that game nothing's wrong with it. It is flawless and there's nothing that needs to be changed into it and stuff. But like and there's no harm. There is no problem for a game to be like, a 9 or an 8 or whatever. But I'm just saying that like the game should not be touched. And I think what was the example that I have? Yeah. Like I think I said I think a game like that was The Last of Us for me. Like the original Last of Us that came out on the PS3.
Yeah. Yes.
Like that's the last perfect game for me because that's the game that I don't want them to change anything out of it. Like it was just a perfect story, perfect gameplay. Everything was good to me on that. But like I think Extra Primal is up there. I give it about an 8 or a 9, and then
it's fun.
It's fun.
The fun factor is just there. The fun factor is there, and even though
it's definitely fun,
they don't have a lot of maps and stuff like that right now, and like you start like especially as you're going and leveling things up, you know what I mean. It never feels repetitive because the scenarios change every time, even though it's a different map or whatever. The fact that the scenarios change and it's random, it makes it feel fresh and new like every time you get into a thing. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I remember seeing a trailer and being like, meh. Kind of reminds me of Anthem. Left kind of a sour taste in my mouth. But getting my hands on it and playing it, thank you Game Pass. Otherwise I would not be playing it. Definitely like it's a good game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I will say that.
But for a game to tear you off of Final Fantasy 16 is crazy to me. That's
what
I find crazy.
I know. But dude, I just started grinding it because like I kept like wanting to know more about the story and then leveling up my exosuits. Excuse me, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna crank this out, dude.
You're like you're literally at the halfway point of Final Fantasy. Just finish the freaking game.
I know.
Just finish the freaking game already, Jesus.
But you gotta understand, dude, I got a lot going on, and like I just don't have a lot of time to like just sit down and invest some hours into, it's harder for me to get that time to do that. And it's been a super busy week too, like work-wise and other things too, so it was all playing into a factor, but I haven't forgotten about it. We definitely gonna finish that up here real soon. He said,
It's gonna be a Metal Gear Solid situation. That's what's gonna happen. I have a feeling it's gonna be a Metal Gear Solid situation again for you.
Now, Tears of the Kingdom, probably. I have maybe put in maybe an hour or two so far.
Tears of the Kingdom, you already wrote that off,
bro. After
week 2,
you know what else that came out that I got last night? Telltale Games is back, by the way. The Expanse. I don't know if you've seen The Expanse.
That's a great show.
Top 5, I think, like all-time sci-fi shows. It's really, really good. So I had to get the Telltale. And it's fantastic so far. I've only got about an hour in it. But yeah,
does it play like the old? Does it play like old Telltale games, or is it
absolutely
different?
Yeah, no. It feels like a Telltale game. The chick that plays drummer on the show, it's her voice and other people's voices and stuff like that. So I'm just excited to see what the story is in terms of, because it seems like this is after how the series ended, I believe. Or no, maybe before. I gotta look at it. I think before, actually. But really see, because it's good, show. Dude. Yeah,
definitely really good. I didn't know they made the game, to be honest with you. I'm actually surprised that one's definitely slipped under me right there.
Yeah, it's Deck 9, the folks that did Life is Strange. The folks that did Life is Strange are behind it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Them
cool.
And
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
They made it, or they published it?
That's a great question. I think Telltale made it. I think Deck 9 published it. Or something. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so Telltale published it, and Deck 9 developed it. Okay, so
all right, so
Telltale
I was
and Deck
completely
9
backwards. I was
No,
completely backwards.
you were actually half right because they did both of it. Developed they developed and they published. Yeah, so there you go.
They did go out unknown. So this is their first thing back in since they basically went defunct. So, you know,
Tales of Borderland 2 was not them? Was that also Telltale? I thought Tales of the Borderland 2.
I don't know. Sure. I don't know in terms of that. Yeah, they came back. Telltale definitely came back. Oh, they were out for a little bit, dude. Use code 1 out of 10 for 50 free glass half full CFG pulls and raise.
Glass half full? What? Like, dude, like, I'm just, hey, it is what it is.
Nah, dude, glass half empty.
What dude, like, here's the thing.
This curmudgeon.
As a person that has reviewed or has had to review hundreds of different kinds of games, like in that period of time, you have to be strict. Like you have to be perfect on these. Like, you can't just give out. You can't give out perfect scores. You can't be biased towards it. So I'm very critical when it comes to these kind of things. So
it has been a while. It's been at least a few years unknown.
Was it a while then? Yeah, it's been about 4 years. The last time when Telltale shut down, and then Skybound bought to the remains of Telltale, and they were making games in the back because they wanted more Walking Deads at the time, which they actually, oddly enough, never came back to. So it was kind of funny. But so that's freaking awesome. Well, dude, there's just a lot of games.
It's just a lot of games, man. That's all there is, dude. I was like, look, dude, like, if your game cannot hold a person's attention for long enough, then, I mean, it is what it is. Like, you don't have time to have these kind of missteps that some of these companies have been having because there's just too many good games out there. And people are going to move on. This ain't like back in the day where it's like you get a new game like for Christmas and then maybe your birthday. You know what I mean? Like, and that's all the new games you got, and that shit got to hold you down for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Nowadays, it's like, wait a second, I make my own money. I want all the games. Give them to me all. I'm an adult. Give it to me.
Remember when you bought your second PlayStation 5? It's like, I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't. I was like, I never even thought this was something that you could do. I was like, why not? Why shouldn't I have 2 PlayStation 5s?
I worked hard for my money. This is what I use it for. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's so funny. Like when I did it, I was like, yeah, I wanted one in the living room and one at one in my office, and that's how it works.
I think it was having a conversation with you that made me realize that, like, I can do that. Why can't I do that? One for here and one for the bedroom. Like, what? That makes sense.
And you know what I did? I wrote that off.
Exactly. Sometimes 2 birthdays in one day. Exactly. And then there's the whole the write-offs. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's how it goes. As for me, though, this week, this week's was pretty busy. I went to Final Fantasy Fan Fest on last weekend. I came back. I didn't tell you this, Smitty, but I actually stayed an extra day in Vegas.
What?
Yeah. I just because so what happened was, like, when you dropped me off.
What happened was
I had an excellent time there, right? Like, I had a great time with doing the Fan Fest. Then I stayed with Smitty at the end of my thing, and then he dropped me off at the airport. But we also had a crazy time with karaoke. That was awesome.
So much fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So then what happened was, I was going to go on my flight. I was all booked. I was all ready. I was going in. Then they said, Southwest Airlines, they said, hey, we overbooked the price, the flight. Is anyone willing to give their seat away? Give their seat away and stuff, and then we'll pay you triple your seat value, and they'll take care of a hotel. They'll take care of a hotel, and you can fly the next day. So I was like, for the longest of time, I was like thinking to myself, for the longest time when they ever say that, it's like, I always wondered whose lifestyle like could just uppity split and just say, okay, let me just do that, and and then just come out, just leave the next day. Because usually people time their trips to the points where they're like, okay, I got work tomorrow or got other stuff I have to take care of. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. I can do it. So I did. So I was like, hey, how much you gonna give me the ticket for? It's like, oh, we'll give you I believe like $800 for your ticket. And I was like, okay. And then they bust me in and I left the next day. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got child credit. So I stayed up and then stayed in the hotel, like not like a classy hotel or anything, but like an airport hotel. And then just left the next day. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. But then came back home and been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, which we will be discussing about today. So it was really fun. So it was also cool just hanging out, meet the gang and stuff like that over in Vegas. I know originally I was going to go do the Evo tournament, but because of some unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't do it. So I had to go, had to leave earlier. But Evo just seems like it's a fun time over there. Just insane time over there too. So.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So, each of us chooses a topic of discussion through the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the previous week in the world of video games. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners or viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Kick, on TikTok, to be a part of the conversation. See, this time I didn't say Facebook twice, so there you go.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
So guys, by all means, there's multiple ways to get in contact with us, and just type it inside the chat if you're wanting to be a part of our conversations. As always, we encourage it, and we will discuss it with you, the listeners and the viewers. So before we go, we see Baldur's Gate. Can't wait to play it. Oh God. Okay. Yes. Sent you a vid. Oh, okay, cool. All right. We'll leave that at that. Yeah, but anyways, it's my I didn't tell you the order, Smitty, but I'll go first on this one.
I figured with the title and everything that we're probably going with you first.
Your detective skills.
I see your powers of deduction.
Yeah. It's impeccable. Unbelievable. Oh man. But yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about Baldur's Gate, man. And I'm not gonna lie. So so this is what happened. 2 years ago, they announced Baldur's Gate. And there's a lot of games that hit me like because I played the first two Baldur's Gate and I loved them. So when they said Baldur's Gate 3, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. There's no way. And I misheard them because you already know, if you know anything about me, you know how much I hate Steam Early Access, how much I hate Kickstarters and stuff like that because of this kind of stuff. And I understood, but I misheard. I thought it was going to be released 2 years ago. So when I bought the game and it came out when they said it came out, I thought it was the complete game. But then they said that it was not. This was just the beginning of what they had, but they're still working on it. So it's currently in Steam Early Access. So I was very disappointed. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin it. I'm just going to put this on the shelf. When it's done, it's done. And I completely forgot about it until like a month ago when they said, hey, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out. And then I thought to myself, didn't I buy this game? And I looked at my list. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah, I did. Oh wait, I do remember buying this 2 years ago. So yeah, finally.
Oh, so you purchased it 2 years ago?
I bought it 2 years ago. I bought it.
What?
I paid $60.
And you had early access and never played it?
I never played it. I played like a little bit of it. I played for about maybe an hour or two, and then I was disappointed because the game wasn't really the game. It was
early
just like
access.
the job. Yeah, it's early access. So I was saying to myself, because like my nostalgia of Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to touch this game until it's complete. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to read anything about it. I'll just wait till the game is complete. So then after that, I mean, look at the 2 year span. Look how many games came out during that time. So like it was easy for me to forget about it. So when it finally came out, so a month when the hype was starting to, when the buzz about Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out, the official release of it's coming out, got closer to it, then I just remembered, wait, did I get this game? And then I looked at my list, found it, and I was like, okay, let me reinstall it. But then there was a couple of weird things that they did, which I can kind of understand. Like there was no pre-download when the game came out, so you had to wait.
And that's like 100 and something gigs, right?
It is, dude. This game is bigger than Final Fantasy 16. This game was 122 gigs. Yeah, it was 122 gigabytes. Yeah, it's crazy,
meaty.
But
that is meaty.
It is incredibly meaty of a game, and it's like, but dude, like I will say this, and this is, and surprisingly enough, I'm surprised enough that this definitely is a game of the year contender, because like I bar none of, like, this is, if I had to choose between Final Fantasy 16 and Baldur's Gate, I'm going to have to choose Baldur's Gate.
I knew you would say that. I knew you would say
because
that.
Like, dude, the freedom of this game is insane on what you can do. Like in this game, like there, and it's like all by choices. It plays like a D. Have you ever played Baldur's Gate before?
I've never played Baldur's Gate.
Oh, okay. So it plays like a D&D campaign, kind of like
it's
this.
It's turn-based. And like you go through, I've played games like that, even in VR. And I love that stuff. Like, I'm literally on the cusp of, like, I've gotten, like, it's sucking me in, dude, because like I know it's good. And like this game is right up my alley. What I'm looking at is time. And am I really gonna have the time to maximize this and play it and whatever? I don't know.
Absolutely not. You do not have the time.
That's the reality
you absolutely do not have the time. Yeah. No, but I'm saying, like, cause like what you can, like, your choices are depending on your class. Like, for instance, the customization spot for your character that you can make took me 2 hours to mess around with. Like, to just mess around and just deal and customize and stuff, let you to just deal with all of that kind of all kind of things. What's cool about it though too is that it also has like your options have direct consequences and things
I love that. Like, this is my kind of game.
Impressive. Yeah, it is so impressive. Like, there's a part where you, so like when you're fighting a squirrel, you're talking to a squirrel. The funniest thing, because I was with a party with yesterday, I was playing it, and I was at this part, it was early in the game. You're talking to a squirrel, or a squirrel comes up at you, squirrel looks at you, then all of a sudden starts gnawing at your feet. And then you're like looking at it again, and it gives you a choice. It gives you a choice of like saying try to talk to the squirrel or kick the squirrel. And then I was like, because like since my intelligence or my I think it's my wisdom or my charisma or whatever was too low to talk to the squirrel. I was like, okay, I might as well just kick the squirrel. And then so they tell you to roll the dice to see if you're able to kick the squirrel or something bad happens to you when you fight the squirrel. And then I got a nat 20 roll on that kick on the squirrel.
He said I booted it across the map.
I freaking like a field goal kicker. I just like kicked that squirrel. Yeah, but the amount of blood that like came out on this one little thing, I felt bad, and it was so crazy. I was like, "What the?" Like, I was not expecting all of this.
I did not mean to obliterate you, little squirrel.
Yeah, it's like I just wanted you to get out of me. Don't gnaw on my feet. Yeah, so there's so many of these little crazy options and stuff like that in this game. Like, there was my friend played like this thing about, it was like talking dog, or was talking to a dog or something, because he could talk to animals, and he refused to move, but then he pushed it too much, so now you had to fight the dog, and then he was like I'm not gonna kill a dog, and he had to he reloaded his session because of it. It's insane, dude. I was like,
I can't
wow.
do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He backed out. I was like, oh my God. It's like, just kill the dog.
I love that, dude.
It is amazing on the choices and the stuff that you can do in this game. And it is incredible. I will say, like, this is like the attacking the system itself. Like you can even do things like environment, use the environment for your gain when you're attacking. Like you could dip your sword in a fire, so now you have a fire sword or whatever, and things like all this different kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm like, this is like, and from what I played 2 years ago to what I played now is night and day difference. This is a completely different game. They just loaded it with just like all like D&D, and like the D&D feel is a lot more impactful in this one, and just graphically, and I'm running on an old school card. I think I'm running on a GTX. Yeah, I'm running on a GTX 1080 Ti. So it's an old card, and it's I mean, even though it's using about 100% of its resources to run it, it's still running pretty well and beautiful and like seamlessly. So yeah, and the multiplayer freaking great. I mean, I haven't seen.
I was gonna say, Dust said, "Isn't this game multiplayer too? Like you can play through the whole campaign with the group." It is. It's up to 4-player co-op. I smell weekly recorded game sessions. Gosh, all right, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. Who's running it with me?
Much to convince
you. It don't take much of anything. This is my kind of game. I love D&D. I love RPGs. I love co-ops. What better way to go through some epic things than with some of my friends? This is all up my alley, dude. And I can play it. I'll play it when I have time. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, like I don't have to feel like I have to rush through it to like get to end game or anything like that. Is there like what happens at end game? I don't know. How long is this game?
I honestly don't know how long the game is. I mean, the game came out Thursday, I believe. But like, if it's a long session, and it's very free, like the quests that you can do and stuff like that. So it's hard to say. Usual Baldur's Gate games do last a while though. So who knows?
I was gonna say. So I know Baldur's Gate. So Baldur's Gate is an older title. I remember my brother played Baldur's Gate. I want to say 2. Like when we were either teenagers or kids or something, and he loved it. That's how I knew what Baldur's Gate was. I personally had never played a Baldur's Gate.
But
everything that you're describing is like, yeah, dude, yes, I want to go on a campaign in this magical land where I can be whatever I want to be. Of course I'm going to be a sorcerer.
Yeah. Oh, here's another thing though too, just to be on the safe side, if you ever stream this, and I ain't kidding, I am not kidding you, there is full on nudity in this game.
I heard about it, like Scum, right?
I didn't know that Scrum did that, but yeah, like there's a yeah, so there's a checkpoint, a check mark you have to turn on so they can do it. But if you turn it off, you can see stuff like dragon wing and like like all that stuff.
Nudity stays on. I want the full experience.
You know,
if you're gonna put bits and bobs in your game, I need to experience the game how it was truly meant to be experienced, and that's not with some sort of pixel filter. I can tell you that right now. I don't know that I'll ever stream it per se.
Well,
this is
I want to stream it, but the problem is because of my card. It is like it's dropping a lot of frames. But I was
gonna say your computer will blow up. I feel.
Yeah, essentially. But it's just the card. Like my computer is up to date on everything else. It's like if I have a better card, I think I would be fine. But yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. Day Night says, dude, there's a scene with the dude and the oh yeah, that's the thing that's controversial right now. But dude, there's a scene with the dude and the bear, and you see things happen with a big ass troll. Yeah, let's just keep that among the vivid imagination of what this game can do. Yeah, because you can do it. You could do it if you're wanting to do it. But this game is freaking, like, if this is the embodiment of Dungeons and Dragons in a video game, like Baldur's Gate 3 hit it out the park on that. And I definitely love this game, dude. Like I've only played it for 2 days, and I'm still like I like. And then maybe after I'm done with my errands, I'm gonna come back with my friends and play some more of it tonight. So like,
I'm telling you, I'm picking it up right after the podcast, dude. I am. I'm gonna fucking do it. Should I put it on the SSD? I'm gonna put it on the SSD.
You should definitely want to put it on the SSD. Or do you have an M.2?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I would put it on the M.2. It'd be even faster.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
that's what I mean.
yeah. So like, yeah, I decided to, well, I can't even record it because it takes too much resources still.
Exactly.
I would need someone else to do the recording. I would love to do a recording of it and maybe just post it on the YouTube channels.
That's what I'll
Shameless
do.
plug, the CFG channel. But
Hey.
yeah, yeah. So but for the most part, yeah, dude, like this game has like, yeah, this is, if you have people that are across, like wanting to play, that is a gamer and love D&D and stuff, it's really awesome. Yeah, and surprisingly, like, well, I'm already biased against Zelda itself. Zelda, don't get me wrong, Zelda, the new one, is a good game, but I still think this game still beats this out the park right now. For
I've
game of the
only
year.
played a couple hours of Zelda so far.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
My PC, I don't know what's going on. It's going crazy.
Yeah.
I'm getting spikes. You take it easy over there. Yeah, I haven't really played that much. No, not you. I was talking to Dust in the chat. He said that was the best freeze ever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just haven't really had a big, like, oh, I gotta grind out into Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I knew out the gate that I'm gonna take my time with it. So I have been doing that, and there's just so many good games out and so many games, you know, I'm playing. I'm just like, when?
Well, here's the thing with Zelda for me. With this Zelda, you're just playing more Breath of the Wild. I mean, the only thing that they added to the new Zelda to me is the building aspect of, you can build all these crazy machines and stuff.
which is huge. Come on.
But it's still not. But you're still fighting the same enemies. You're still dealing with the same kind of the same kind of deal. You're now just finding a way to kill them in a more creative way. That's that's really it to me. And you know what? It works. It works. And I'm not I'm not judging it. So like, in my opinion, to say like, oh, this game is going to be it, because like, I guess the highly anticipated game of this year to me, I guess, would be Starfield, if Starfield is as good as it says it's going to be. But other than that, like right now, I will not be surprised if Baldur's Gate is in talks with Game of the Year, because this game is freaking insane. Like
I can see it. I have a hard time believing that I'll win it though. I gotta experience it for myself.
I think it's definitely an underdog. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a clear deal, because like, I think with six, oh, what? No, what?
I was gonna say, I'm not saying because it's not a good game or anything like that, or it's just like, I just feel like this genre does not get as much love as a lot of the other genres. And then they're also battling against other like the characters within the game. And I don't know if this like follows along a story path from like the other previous Baldur's Gates. But like I feel like you gotta look at that stuff too, in terms of when they're looking at naming a game of the year, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different kind of things. Mm-hmm.
Or agree with it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it like, I think like, yeah, I think if you love these kind of, yeah, well, I just think, especially the people here that are listening to this podcast, to definitely, if you love those kind of if you love RPGs, this is a true embodiment of what an old school or I'm sorry, not RPGs, but D&D. You should definitely play this. It like, these are the Larian Studios is the same company that did Divinity 2 and stuff. So, but even to that aspect, this is a completely different feel of what Divinity is to Baldur's Gate. Like, it is a night and day difference. They have two different levels of identity that I think that they did a great job of separating itself. So I think, yeah, so nothing but good things right now. I mean, there are some small glitches, however, but I mean, patch updates and stuff. The opportunities could be like, the possibilities of this game is literally endless. They already had Twitch drops yesterday on this.
Yeah, so like, I like that too. That Twitch integration with this. Dude, you've already convinced me. I'm buying it. I'm literally buying it after we're done here. So we'll see if I play it tonight, or maybe I'll get some in tomorrow. But yeah, I was already looking at it, and I was just like, damn, dude, it's like, I know I don't have the time but it sounds so freaking dope. It's like, dude, this is like straight up my alley, and it's an RPG, and it's turn-based combat. Come on, dude, I'm here for it. I am here for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, definitely. If ask Dust if he was going to pick it up.
I already knew Dust. I didn't even have to ask him. I didn't even have to ask him. You know, he hasn't picked it up yet. He said he's gonna pick it up this week. But I know this is the dude that told me about Demio on VR, and we played through some Demio, which is VR D&D essentially. It's fantastic. It's a great game. If you have VR, look it up, Demio.
Okay, yeah, I definitely need to take a look at that. But yeah, so overall, guys, this I know we usually do a game of the year pick at the end of the year, but like this is definitely definitely a big contender on for me. But yeah, so definitely check it out. Check it out. It is available at all. Well, no, I'm sorry. In fact, it's not out on Xbox. They're saying Xbox's version is going to be delayed until 2024 because the problem is that because the rule of Xbox is you have to play the games have to play on both the S and the X.
Right.
The problem is that the S isn't strong enough to play with all the modes that it for Baldur's Gate yet at all. So there's no wiggle room for them to remove stuff out of the game so the S can play it. So they're trying to find ways to get that working. And then once it's implemented correctly for the S, then it can be released regularly on the X and stuff like that. So that's why it got delayed to 2024. I believe it comes out on PS5 on console next month in September, but you can get it now. Technically it's early. It's still early. It's technically early release on PC right now, which you can get on Steam. It's a pricey game, but I think it's worth it. It's very, very rare to say $60, very rare for $60 games to be worth the amount that they charge. So it's gonna be great. Great. What'd you say, Dust? So I was originally going to wait to get Baldur's Gate 3 until I replay Baldur's Gate 2 again, but I want to do some weekly shindig stuff. Yeah, I would just play 3, dude. just play 3 and then
I think that's what he's saying.
I
think that's what he's saying. Yeah, it's just picking it up, doing some weekly stuff. I'm like, for me too, especially like I'm like. And I know a lot of people are kind of feeling this way and whatnot too in the Destiny community, but I don't know. As it stands right now, I think after the final shape, I think I gotta walk away from Destiny.
Are you getting tired of it or bored of it or like what's going on?
I love the story. The story's great, but the weekly grind, the like, there's more focus on their paid stuff. I feel that personally, their focus is on Marathon. Again, that was their first FPS back in the 90s, and they're going full force into that. So I don't know what happens after the final shape, but I've already decided I'm gonna ride it out till the Light and Dark saga ends. After that, I'm just like, meh. I think I'm gonna move on from it. It's been 10 years.
It's a good ride. It's a good ride. So there you go. And T-Man says, how does the turn-based combat work? The turn-based combat works, NT, is that, so what happens is there's going to be an attack phase, like let's say someone aggroes you or an enemy aggroes you. You basically have like a meter, like on your bottom right hand, corner of your screen that gives you like a certain amount of range that you can walk into it. Think of it kind of like XCOM, kind of like that, like you had a certain amount of reach,
but I heard those are good.
Yeah. It's like you have a tactical range that you can go to, a certain amount, maximum range. So then, so you have like your base attacks. So you choose like, your regular attack and whatever. Now, now you have special abilities, but your special abilities, you have a certain amount that you can do in one day, just like you do in the D&D session. So you gotta be very careful if you really need to do that ability at the time, or if you want to hold out before you need to do a full rest period. So other than that, it's just move. It's there's a bar that tells you whose turn it is. You move over and then you just say attack or whatever, do whatever you're wanting to do, and then end your turn and then go to the next guy and so on and so forth. So it's really it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Yeah. So Yeah, you could easily pick it up. Now, what could be a little bit overwhelming is that that there are a ton of spells, because there's you have if you're like, for instance, if you're a sorcerer, there's so many branches of different kind of sorcery that you can do that can be a little bit overwhelming. But at the same time, it's you may be able, but once you kind of like have time to read what you're wanting to do, or what your plan is going to be at, or what you're trying to build to, it gets a lot simpler. So yeah, so there you go. Yeah, how's the crafting? You know what, I haven't played long enough for the crafting yet. Oh, how's the crafting? Is there a huge, I do not know, to be honest with you. So if I do come across it, I'll let you know.
If you're familiar with D&D at all, it is D&D, just a video game, essentially, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Think about a lot of the parameters that work in a D&D campaign are set within the game. So it plays very much like a D&D and a video game D&D. So if you're into that kind of stuff, like, this is right up your alley. Not only that, but from everything that I've been seeing and people, what Davis is saying here is that they've kicked it up a notch, and not only have they given you all kinds of just different ways to play the game, to experience things, all kinds of stuff, 4-player co-op, which is very enticing as well. Like, it sounds dope. I can't deny it.
It's freaking insane. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you say romancing your people?
Yeah, you can romance your people.
See, you can romance your people. I'm gonna romance the shit out of you. Ooh la la.
I'm way above your league, my friend. So
no
way.
He said I'm out of your league.
I'm way up there for you. So there you go. That's freaking hilarious. All right, Smitty, what's your topic?
I got a quick one here. I just wanted to. I thought this was interesting, especially the fact that we know, and what I feel, at least with Xbox and Microsoft and their integrations and where they've been going with. But recently, here the other day, they basically are working in deeper integrations with Discord. So essentially what they're allowing to do is, and we know both on PlayStation and on Xbox, there's now Discord integration. I've always thought that was huge. And Davis and I talked about it a little bit too. There was at one point in time where Microsoft and Discord were working on a deal for Microsoft to buy and purchase Discord. That ended up falling through. I think this was like back in 2021. And that ended up falling through. But what's interesting, number one, is that we've been seeing Discord, especially with some of their latest updates, they're seeming to be more of a legitimate platform in terms of a place to be able to stream things. They've got games directly integrated in there. We know that there's bonuses and stuff like that with Nitro, which is great. But I love to see the fact that, again, I don't know what it is. For some reason, I think my Twitter algorithm has just been freaking out or whatever. But they essentially have been, I don't know, that was the thing that happened there. But they essentially they've been integrating more and more of that stuff. I feel that, I've been seeing a lot of weird console war things. I definitely feel that Microsoft, and they have for a while now, been pushing forward and really leaning into the cloud gaming aspect. Whether you like it or you don't like it, to me, that is the future of gaming, at least on more of a consumer level and on a, you know what I mean, like just random people, making things more affordable and accessible for people. The fact that you're able to now, not only can you use Discord to speak in it and stuff like that, but you can actually go in and you're able to stream your gameplay from whatever your thing is. That didn't work. From whatever your thing is. Then, again, I just love to see the fact that there's this integration and this kind of stuff. How that will benefit you, to me, that kind of positions Discord to be a place that, like, you don't even have to be like on a Twitch, a Kick, or anything like that. You can stream directly in Discord and do things directly in Discord where you had your camera up and, like, say that, you know, maybe, you know, you have some sort of exclusive tier or something like that where you do these off streams directly on Discord as opposed to doing it on somewhere else. So it gives you a little more control as a creator, especially if you're curating content for a specific group or as an incentive for folks to do like a tier thing or something like that. So I think that's fantastic that they're doing that. They said that the new feature is, this is from a Verge article, the new feature is starting to roll out to Xbox insiders in the alpha, skip ahead, and alpha rings of testing today, and should be available to all Xbox owners in the coming months. So they didn't really give a hard, it just sounds like it's going to be a gradual rollout of this, if this is something that you may be able to utilize. Much like the existing Discord integration on Xbox, it's all built into the parties and chat section of the dashboard. So you'll be able to do it directly from, say, your Xbox. If you have one of the consoles, the X's or S's, there'll be that option like there is on PlayStation and whatever to do that stuff, which is nice. So it's like, again, it's nice to be able to see these parties come together and make things a little smoother and, you know, be able to integrate both things into the UI and stuff like that. Because, I mean, this is where gaming is. We are at a point where it doesn't matter what platform you're on. We have more and more of the ability to play with our friends, whatever platform they're on. There's particular games that you're able to do that, and they see the numbers in that, hence why I believe that they are going harder in the paint with it. And finally, after some dragging and tugging, you know, Sony PlayStation and has embraced it a little bit more than what it was before, because before it was like, we'll never do that. That ain't for us. We're PlayStation, bitch, exclusive.
They've been doing Discord for about a year.
No, and I'm not even talking about Discord. I'm talking about crossplay in general. Remember, dude, they were fighting crossplay tooth and nail. But again, and I think this is why in the history of video games, Fortnite will always be in and should be in the conversation, because it really changed a lot in the video gaming space. Not only because of the game, but to me, that was the big one that made Sony be like, shit, I guess we'll do it. I guess we'll you guys can do crossplay now.
I think some of the thing, it was the reason why, with Fortnite really did change the bubble of everything, of how things work. But I guess I'm not like right. I mean, Discord's integration in general is, I've just come to really been noticing that you could do a lot like already now with Discord, how it is now. Like you can monetize, like you can set it up if you're wanting to put a paywall for specific access to your own servers. You can do that if you're wanting to do that, right, and stuff. And now, and I guess what I'm not understanding is that, is it saying like, because you could technically stream an Xbox game onto Discord if you have the equipment to do so, but are you saying that you can like, instead of having the equipment to do so, you can rawly if you had an Xbox Series X, you could just stream it from Xbox Series X directly to Discord?
Yes, through the party and chat options.
Okay, through the party and chat options. Okay, yeah, exactly. So that makes more sense, because I was like wondering, I'm like, when now the only thing that Discord is missing is like is the accessibility. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like how it is on Twitch, you have a cover page or front page where it'll be like, hey, go to this person's channel and see what they're playing and stuff. There's there's not a system to kind of do that itself, unless Twitch is planning on doing Discord is doing something like that, that's going to make it more allow you to show more exposure to you and your and new communities, instead of saying, oh, you have to click on this link to be invited to my server so you can see what I am doing. that kind of thing, like a better way of doing that and kind of level of integration. If they do that, then you're right. Then I think that like then the contention there is a contendership of saying Discord being a somewhat of a semi-streaming service, but their focus isn't just streaming like on like Twitch or Kick and stuff. It's there's so many other outside revenues that you can use through Discord to be able to support yourself if you're wanting to. And then just but I definitely think that the first corner step of Xbox doing this is a very good start. I guess another question would be, this is for hardware side of Xbox. Do you really seriously like? I don't know if Xbox is really going more for cloud base itself. It's kind of a moot point in my opinion, because it's like I don't think that I think that like because cloud based, you don't need a system anymore. And theoretically, you wouldn't, if you don't need a system anymore, you're just going to use your computer or your phone or whatever, and you can already do that kind of stuff on Discord, like without any applications and stuff, So
well, I believe this is more of a W for Discord than Microsoft. Again, and this is going back to when Microsoft was ready to pay $10 billion for it. And they said, oh, nay. I don't know about you, but it would be very hard for me to pass up 10 billion, not million, $10 billion.
You know what I think? I think they knew their worth. That's
exactly right.
I think that's what it was.
That is exactly right.
Get more. Yeah,
and I think for them on the Discord side, and this is why this is dubs for Discord, I think they're slowly building to be a platform where they would do something like that. Hey, they've got a browse section and stuff like that. They're just doing it. That was never their main thing. I think they're slowly working their way into that space. Because think about how many communities that are hosted there, the servers and stuff like that. They've got a great infrastructure. They've clearly been dabbling in doing that stuff. So it's there. They don't have to rush it. The people are already there. What they're doing, I feel, is beefing up what they need on the back end. Hey, you can play your Xbox and you can directly stream to Discord. I guarantee you the same thing is going to happen with PlayStation. We saw both integrations come with Xbox first, and then PlayStation wasn't too far behind. Those are deals that are probably in the making.
I think PlayStation's a little bit more stubborn that way, because like you were saying, because like
that's true.
PlayStation's pretty old school Japanese business when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like they're like when
I feel like they're behind in that though. I mean, look at it.
They don't like sharing their toys with other people. Right. They never did. And like the only reason why they did what they did with Fortnite was because they had their arms tied because of a gigantic community asking for it. So like,
but it's more than just Fortnite now. That's what I'm saying. Fortnite, I felt like, was the one that kind of cracked the ceiling open. But there's all kinds of games now between PlayStation and all the other ones that cross-play is enabled all across the map. Modern Warfare or Call of Duty is another big example of that. They know they have no. But it's not like, just a crack. They realize that they no longer have that leverage in terms of that. I was talking with somebody the other day too, and it's like, look at it. We're about, and I'm going to say it with quotation marks, halfway through the console life cycle. They're talking about a Pro or something like that next year, all that stuff. We really haven't gotten many games that have taken full advantage of the raw power in both of those systems, the haptic feedback, this and that. Like, it feels games wise, there really isn't a lot of reason to be like, hey man, I have to have a PS5. Yeah, there's some solid exclusives, but nothing that made you, if there's no The Last of Us, where it's like, I have to have this console because of this game. It's just not there.
I think it depends on what you're looking for specifically.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, right now, I think, like, for instance, when you see, like, there's a lot of people I know that got a PS5 for 16, for instance, even though
Okay.
16 is technically region locked. Then also, you don't think that Spider-Man 2 is going to be you don't think Spider-Man 2 is going to be a reason why people are going to be buying buying the system itself, or like, I mean, now I will agree that they don't have the quantity of, like, proprietary games to be like, hey, I need to get the system because I'm missing out for this kind of thing. They definitely don't have that to what the PS4 the PS3 and stuff like that had in its heydays. But, like, I will say that, so I could kind of see with PlayStation on that. Xbox, absolutely. There's no, I mean, they don't. There's nothing on a reason, absolute reason on getting it until, like, maybe Starfield, but even that is, like, kind of a 50. It's a very specific group to be like to be saying yes to.
Trinetta says, "Homie, please! I paid $600 for Final Fantasy 16."
Yeah, see, that's what I told you. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, I'm not saying that there hasn't been. I just feel where we're at in the life cycle, you know what I mean, in how things went. Obviously, there's the pandemic that slowed things up greatly as well. It just feels like we're still closer to the infancy in terms of games wise, but we've been in the next generation for a few years, and I just feel like we haven't gotten a lot of next generation games, and I'm talking about across the board. When it comes
across the board
to the
overall,
console.
totally, yeah, you're right. But, like, however, I'm saying that proprietary wise, like, specifically to get on the PlayStation, there's a lot more proprietary games specifically on
and
the PlayStation.
I understand that.
That would say I got to get the system for that.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. I am not denying that. But let's even look let's look at the numbers. At this point in time, the PlayStation 5 has sold less than the PlayStation 4, right? So
I don't know. I
believe that's the case.
Hey, look it up, though. Hold on.
And I think that's over the amount of time the amount of time from release. So we'll say 3 years or whatever. But to me, and again, they're just, and there are games, because I would have gotten it with Final Fantasy VII Remake. So don't even, like, I was getting it day one regardless. Like, it didn't even matter. And I knew that this is going to be the case. I just feel like where we're at in the life cycle of consoles, I'm just like, I feel like things are lagging.
Okay, good dude. Okay, I'm sorry. No, because look at this. So PlayStation 4, wait, hold on. Let me make sure. No, continue on. I want to be 100% before I say anything.
Oh, so, like, I just feel like it's lagging in term, and I mean both the consoles and the games, utilizing the technology and what it can do. We haven't had a lot, I feel, that have pushed the limits. And I'm not saying that there haven't been great exclusive games or anything like that. I just feel personally the market is shifting. And they realize that they've bought into Microsoft's infrastructure in terms of cloud gaming and stuff like that. They are definitely behind on that front. I feel that Microsoft is leaning into this for a grip now. I don't think that, and they realize it, and they outwardly said it. Selling Xboxes were never their main priority. That whole gaming section was never their main priority. Yes, it could bring money in and stuff like that, but I don't feel that they've ever really focused on that stuff. But with cloud gaming, they are definitely, I feel, leading the pack in terms of what the future of gaming.
Well, leading the pack. There's no competition to it.
What do you mean? There is competition.
For what Xbox is making? No,
not for what they're making. I'm talking about in the cloud gaming space specifically.
I mean, like the world of what, like, I mean, like with Azure, they made their own server bases, and as well as they made their own, like, these different kinds of, like, these different points of what they're making. I mean, they're building something that's original. So it's hard to say, like, now there is cloud gaming already, but it's nowhere near what Xbox is making. But
that's my point.
But like, however, I will say this, because like I was saying that I was just taking a look here on the numbers here, and then and year to date, and keep in mind, because the pandemic really punched Sony and Microsoft in the gut for 2 years, because remember there was a back order for PlayStation 5s you could keep on the shelf
and the
forever.
Developers and the whole tech sector, dude. Like it took it all took.
I mean, I'm not going to argue about, like, you know, because like I'm just going to say let Xbox do whatever the hell Xbox do, because they already know that they lost the console war for it, which is fine. But like at the same time though, it's like, okay, here you go, like try to find a thing to pivot and try to make it into something that you're wanting it to be, and then work on it, and that's exactly what they're doing. But like overall though, I mean, I guess the deal, I mean, with the integration that I'm seeing with with these slight integrations for the hardware based side for Xbox, like itself, I guess I kind of see it kind of like minuscule. I mean, it's cool that you can do it, but at the same time, it's like I personally just don't really care, because like that's not what they're building. That's not what their full envisioning of what they're trying to look at what Xbox as a brand to be anyways, which is going to be not everywhere and anywhere.
So it's not really a Microsoft story. This is a Discord story. This is a W for Discord.
Oh yeah,
what
definitely
it is.
It's W for Discord.
They get the boon being able to have people directly, exactly. And I can't imagine it's going to be too far behind before a feature similar or like that comes to PlayStation as well. Personally, again, like you're saying, they're not there. I feel like they're slow playing and they're building it out, and they're positioning themselves to be able to be that central hub for gamers. People are looking at like Twitter and things like that. But Discord, dude, I feel like people are sleeping and have